favorite part about getting ready for the tournament is actually the drive down. It's the journey there, which is one of my favorite parts. And you know, it's always exciting. First tournament of the year, you got to get the boat packed, you got to get your rods put in the boat, you get everything tied up, you get all your reels re-spooled, and you do a little bit of research on your first destination, how the bite is, where the bite's happening, where are all the fish being caught, are the fish spawning yet? Because it's the spring. Have they spawned yet, or are they still tight, full of eggs? I mean, that's all, you know, crucial information you got to get before you actually make the journey down. Well, the day I left here in the Sioux, it was a blizzard. We had snow coming down. Everybody at the gas station here was looking at me like I had two heads when I was gassing up the boat. But surprisingly, for being that far south, the temperatures were still freezing there. It was minus 8 degrees Celsius, minus 5 degrees Celsius, you know, when we got there. And you know, I knew right away that the water temperatures were still going to be cold. You know, the air was cold, so I knew we were going to be in for, you know, one of those weeks. Being that this is a new body of water for me, I didn't really anticipate on what I was going to be doing just yet when I was packing up. So I literally brought everything. I mean, I brought all my hand lining equipment, I brought all my cranks, I brought all my jigging stuff. It's a river, you know, rivers can be pretty tough, so you got to be prepared for everything. Day one of the pre-fish. We launched the boat that morning. It was minus 8 degrees Celsius. Like I said, it's my first time on that body of water. So first thing in the morning, I really want to get the lay of the land. We went down river, we went up river. I want to see how the current flows in the river, what flows in the river, what the shorelines are like. I know it's a heavy commercial traffic barge river. So there's constant barges running through it. There's barges tied up on shore. You know, it's a very, very busy river. So basically, we started out on some local spots, you know, where it's been won in the past, where, you know, anglers have done good in the past. Started out jigging. Couldn't really put a jigging program together. We were jigging plastics, a lot of Walleye Assassins, a lot of gulp, a lot of Berkeley stuff, Berkeley products, ripple shads and such. We couldn't really get them going. The river was really fast and really dirty on day one of our pre-fish, so we kind of immediately switched to cranks, and we were pulling three-way, heavy three-ways with original wraps, and, you know, we dialed them in on a color the first day, and, you know, we ended up catching quite a few fish that day, which it turned out to be a lot of fun. It was really good to get that first fish in the boat. I think Derek actually caught it, but as soon as he got to the side of the boat and I netted it and it came in the boat, it was, you know, it felt pretty good. Day two, a lot of the same, a lot of cold, a lot of rain, and a lot of wind that day. We've seen some snow. You know, we really had to dress for the elements. It was a cold, terrible day out, but despite that, you know, we really got onto some fish. We started dialing in. We had two groups of heavy females that we were getting solid on our three-way crank program. We had them really dialed in, and so, you know, we caught a couple, moved to another spot, caught a couple there, and then we just left. And we started thinking about, as the water temperature rises throughout the week, where are these fish gonna go? Come tournament day, where are these fish gonna run to if they're not spawning yet? Water temp the first day was about 38 degrees. The second day was about 39.5. I think it hit 40 degrees towards the end of the day. So it was on a warming trend. So we knew, you know, these fish they're getting very close to spawn, and we were catching mostly females. Late in the afternoon on day two, for some reason over the winter, there was a battery issue in my boat, and that I didn't know about. So we went to start up the big motor, wouldn't start. Lowered the kicker, and we kickered it back to the launch, which took about two and a half hours to get back. By the time we got back, the sun was going down, and I knew we had to get to a parts store, and we had to buy a battery. I also had 3 spare trolling motor batteries that I brought down with me. So we figured, you know, let's just bite the bullet, get our flashlights out, swap out all 4 batteries right now. It's not something we can afford to have to go down during the tournament. So. Day 3, the day before the tournament. What we were really doing, like I said, is we were trying to figure out where these fish are going to move. Day 3, the water temperature is about 42 degrees. The water's warming fast. We ended up getting on a school of moving fish, a lot of males mixed in. You you got to have those spots in your back pocket. So we found that day. We didn't touch our 2 other female spots, and then we pulled out, went to the rules meeting, and you know, you spend the night before the tournament tying your gear, getting the cranks ready. We tied leads all night, tied dropper lines all night. You know, you get your lead ready, get everything culled out of the boat that you're not going to use during the tournament, and everything in the boat that, you know, you're going to use, you might use. So, you know, plug the batteries in, let the nerves settle down a little bit, then you know, we had a light meal, and then hit the hay early. It's going to be, we knew it was going to be an early morning, and it was going to be a cold one. 8 o'clock blast off, we were 27th out of the gate, and first thing we did was we head downriver to our first female spot. We get down there and there's already 4 or 5 boats there, and I had that gut feeling that it was going to be parking lot come when all the boats were released. So, you know, we had to scrape together, if we were going to, we had to scrape together those female fish, and we had to do it fast. We made our first pass, bang, we picked up a 17-inch female, which you know, we were pretty pleased about. That, you know, we were marking the fish were still there. Go to make our second pass, nothing. We stayed there until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the bite had just died. We ended up being the last boat there, and then we had to make that decision whether are we going to sit here till 4 o'clock and chance it weighing in 1 fish, where these fish might turn back on and we might pick up 4 more females, or are we just going to run down river to our male spot and pick up 4 males. We made the decision that 5 fish was more important than weighing in 1. So we ran upriver, close to the dam area, and we scraped together fish. We caught tons of males. You know, the odd female mixed in, but they were small. You know, we were netting fish every pass. We were netting 2 to 3 fish on this one spot, and you know, thankfully we were able to weigh in, catch 5 and weigh in 5. Well, our 5 fish weighed just shy of 7 pounds, which is that's kind of disappointing, considering we caught so many fish down there by the bridge. Our goal is to weigh in 5 fish, day 1 and day 2, and at this point we had reached our goal for day 1, was weighing in 5. Day 2 of the tournament, really we had 2 options. We could either go sit in our female spot and hope to scrape up a couple fish there, or just go back to the male spot and weigh in 5 fish. So what we ended up doing was going back up to our female spot. We were 27th last out of the gate on day 2. They reversed the order. So by the time we got there, it was a parking lot, and you know, we made 1 run, and then bang bang, 2 fish right away. They're both beautiful females. One was about 2.5 pounds, 2 3/4 pounds, and another one was about 2 pounds. So thankfully we picked up them 2 fish because we made a couple more passes and there was nothing. We ran just downriver about a mile where we had caught fish in practice, thinking that maybe all those fish, with all the pressure and everything, had slid down to there, and you know, we might be able to scrape up 1 or 2, but we couldn't. So, you know, the buzzer was ticking and time was ticking, so we had to get down and we had to get 3 more fish. So we went back down to our male spot. Thankfully we pulled a nicer female down there, and then 2 males to go with it. So we weighed in just shy of 10 pounds on day 2, which I was happy about. I mean, I felt pretty good about that one. Our goal was really 5 fish a day, and we made that goal. We ended up getting bumped up to 47th place. Day 2 was pretty hard. A lot of guys struggled. We struggled. We didn't catch nearly as many fish as we did day 1, but you know, we caught our 5. You know, these river tournaments are always a crazy learning experience. I always learn my most in these river tournaments. It's not that hard to go out into a lake and throw out 6 boards and 6 cranks or 6 harnesses and dial them in on a specific depth, on a specific color, and you know, specific bait. In a river, you got so many variables. You got the weather, you got the water temperature, you got the water clarity, you got how fast the current going here and how fast the current's going there. You know, plus these fish are getting ready to spawn. So, you know, the river tournaments are always a huge learning experience. And in a river, there's so many different ways to catch fish. You really got to avoid the topic of going out pre-fishing and doing them all and figuring out which one works the best, because you could spend 2 weeks there just, you know, if you spent a couple days jigging, a couple days doing this, a couple days doing that, a couple days hand line. I mean, you could spend 2 weeks there. But when you got all that and you have to condense it all into 3 or 4 days of practice, you just got to go out and do what you do best. I mean, there's out of the 5 or 6 different techniques to fish that river. You know, we got them pretty good on trolling 3 ways in pre-fish. The guys were getting them jigging, guys were getting them pulling lead, guys were getting them, you know, a lot of different ways. So the 3-way rig was most productive for us. So at that point, you know, when that's working and you know it's working on more than one spot, like it's working good throughout the river, all of a sudden I had to basically put everything on the back burner. Am I frustrated with my finish? Yes. Am I disappointed in it? No. At the end of the day, when it comes down to, you know, the bare bones, it is just fishing. So, you know, we went out, we worked hard, we fished in some pretty nasty weather, and it was a lot of fun. Spring Valley Walleye Club, they accommodated us great. Everybody was super friendly. Huge shout out to them. And if you guys are ever in Spring Valley, make sure you check out the Spring Valley Inn. The owners of that place were really nice, really accommodating for all the boats, and you know, we could plug our boats in at nighttime and everything. It was really accommodating. Other than that, next stop, Detroit River. I got my jigs packed, jig rods are packed. Let's go. To Detroit, going to Detroit.